So it's that time of year again. We're all going back to school. We're all pretending to be excited about it. But because of that, I thought it was time to make a video on something that I think is really important that I've just kind of realized over the past year to year and a half period. We need to read more books. So something that kind of hit me the other day was I was studying Calc 3. I know we're already at Calc 3. I was studying Calc 3 with a friend, and he asked, how do I study? And specifically, he asked, what did I watch? What videos did I watch to understand the content? Not as much do practice problems, because practice problems are just find problems and do them. And I answered him, I just read the textbook. And I think that might have taken him a little bit off guard, because most people, I don't feel like actually just read the textbook. Most of the time there's like organic chemistry tutor or some YouTube video that people go to understand the content that the professor just taught them in some cases. I just read the textbook, and I kind of thought about that a little more. And I kind of realized like that has helped me more than pretty much any of my other study techniques, being able to read a textbook and actually understand it. In fact, it's gotten me to a point where like I picked up this book, Analytical Mechanics, from a library. This is not a part of a curriculum that I'm taking at all. I just wanted to learn more about it. And a year ago, this would have been impossible to learn anything from. I would not have understood anything that I'm looking at. But because of a year of just learning from reading textbooks, I can now look at this and understand what's going on. It kind of made me realize like people aren't digesting the information that they're learning in class. They're kind of just memorizing it to be able to take the next exam and to ace it. And I think that's kind of a side effect of teaching through tests. I think all it does is teach kids how to memorize content and cram it down their throats essentially, and then forget it the minute the exam's over. No one's sitting there and digesting the concepts. They're just memorizing it and forgetting it. When you read a textbook, you develop an intuition about the subject. Math and physics are a great example of this. When I read a physics textbook and when I learn a topic in math and physics through reading a textbook, I get a sort of a gut feeling as to how it all works. When I see a problem, I don't just think I've seen this problem in this textbook at some point. I think I actually understand what it's asking, and I have a gut feeling as to the direction this is going to go in. And I really do attribute that almost entirely to being able to read textbooks. So I then started thinking, why do people not read textbooks? And this is kind of a rabbit hole to go down, but I think it's primarily because people have a hard time sitting still. And, you could go down the whole like Gen Z has no attention span thing, but it's partially true. No one digests concepts in general anymore. If you ever are sitting there bored, you just go to your phone, you're not bored anymore, and there's very little depth of thought that happens. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm trying to just not be on my phone as much. But I think the biggest way that you can combat not having an intuition about a subject is to read a book on the topic. And there really isn't like a step-by-step guide to this. The thing that's helped me is whenever I find myself on my phone, I take out a book. I'm in between a couple different books, actually. I'm also reading The Lord of the Rings. Currently, I'm on The Two Towers. Absolutely love this. I highly encourage you to just read a book, get used to reading books and to understanding books, but specifically like math and physics and scientific subjects. If you want to excel in the field, you need to understand how these things work intuitively, like a gut feeling. And the way that I think you build that best is through reading a book. It's also through being bored, though. And that's the part that sucks. Last year, I remember when I was doing General Chemistry 1, I don't like chemistry. Chemistry, like I got an A in that class, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done because I hated every moment of it. Like I could not stand the subject. And there were many times when I would like go do practice problems and thoroughly not understand what the problem was asking and how to do it. And I remember specifically there was one problem that took me like 2 days to conceptually understand. And it hit me while I was like in the shower, just not thinking about anything. It just kind of popped into my head like, oh, that's how that works. And I had one of those kumbaya moments where it just made sense. And I've had those happen a couple more times. And every time that happens, it's always when I'm bored or when I'm not doing something. And the side effect of never being bored is you never have those thoughts. You never have intuitive, original ideas. So my challenge to all those watching this video, I know this video is kind of a brain dump, but my challenge to you, be bored. When you're on the bus on your way to school, like I am every morning, do not look at your phone. Don't have a podcast in. Don't have any sort of like self-improvement stuff even, because at the end of the day, it's just noise. Do you remember the last self-improvement podcast you listened to? Like, have you actually lived out the stuff that you heard in the podcast? If you have, great. Most people, I think, listen to it. It's like a fun thing to do in the moment. And then afterwards, it's just like, that was kind of entertainment, like watching a movie. Do nothing. Be bored. And then the second challenge, find a book on a topic that you want to become better at. Everyone has something they want to be an expert in. I want to be good at physics and computer science. I want to be really good at those things. And that means I can't just hope that class does it for me. Class is not enough to become an expert in the field. You need to do more, and you should want to do more. This isn't a chore for me. I actually like this book. So that's really all I have to say. Be bored, read books. I think it'll help. I can't say I'm perfect in this at all. In fact, I'm pretty bad at it, all things considered, but I'm trying. I actually have gotten through this book, and I actually have read The Fellowship of the Ring too. So I do read regularly. I'm practicing what I preach, but making this video holds me to a little bit more accountability. But yeah, be bored, read books.